From the very first episode of Just Reasoning, when we started doing this. Every few weeks, we talk. We have another a police shooting. Happen, and we can, as from our first conversation, we know the police just deal with black people differently. We're just more of a threat just by our presence. For one, when I sat there today, even before the violence kicked off, and I saw those thousands of white people all up on the Capitol steps, waving Confederate flags, waving. Imagine thousands of black people just up there, just with black liberation flags. Imagine, even before they do anything, something would have kicked off. So just our skin is a threat. So we talked about the Jacob Blake shooting. This was a few months ago in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I don't know exactly what happened, but they said that he was supposedly breaking up a fight between two girls, two women.
Violence situation.
Yeah, so domestic violence situation. And, I didn't see the whole tape, but from the point, what I did see, he was walking away from the situation, walking away from police, walking towards his vehicle. Police shot this man in his back 7 times. In his back. He's going away from you. Shot him in the back 7 times. Yeah, exactly.
How are you a threat?
Yeah, I have no idea how that man is not dead. He's paralyzed. Changed your whole life.
From the waist down.
Yeah, waist down shot.
In front of his kids.
In front of his kids.
That they claimed he was going to kidnap.
Yeah, kidnap his own kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's, and what happened yesterday, DA come out and say, we're not pressing charges. Sorry, my bad. It was all legal. And, so my we can't go with many angles with this, but the angle I'm coming from is, I believe that we are not only getting numb to this, we expect the fuckery. We expect them to do this thing, and we expect them to get away with it. And so I heard like there wasn't even any protesting or anything in Kenosha last night.
Small amount.
We can't even loot no more. I mean, so it's like, and I think that is a dangerous place to be, where we expect injustice, and inevitably it happens, and then we move on, and then another month going to come by, and then another hashtag, and then and it's just becoming routine, and that's what is just infuriates me, is that not only do they face no consequences, but we are also getting numb to it. Yeah. Are my concerns valid?
Well, before you got this, the white people were actually preparing for it, because on the news report, they were actually battening down businesses because they were expecting us to riot.
So they were more prepared.
Yes.
Than
the Capitol Police.
Yeah, exactly. You can't tell me that something don't smell right there. Anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes I just think they're just waiting for us to take revenge on what they did. Not just in recent times, but from way back during slavery. Sometimes I just think they're just sitting back waiting because they're expecting something. You know why they're expecting it? Because they know if it was them and we had them in slavery, it would have gone totally different. They wouldn't have had no peace. No peace. We would have been in war ever since they were set free. So I just get the feeling that they're just expecting that any time now, because they know what they did. Right?
Slow down, though. I took it to the head.
Refill.
So
now on to the vodka.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
Lord.
listening to the district attorney
We
talk.
halfway through.
And
We halfway through.
if you listen to the speech he gave, the presentation he gave as to the reason why the police wasn't charged, he didn't even sound like he believed it, right? You know, he
I
was
couldn't even watch that.
Yeah, he
No, I
was
didn't watch it
shaky. But you know, you're just shaking your head. It was like, oh my God, because he's saying that the guy had a knife in his car, but the cop didn't know that. The cop
Exactly.
didn't know that. Right?
Yeah.
So,
In his car.
yeah.
You know?
So
He
there's
wasn't
no
in his car.
No. You know, so he didn't even. If you watch it, you will see what I'm saying. He really didn't even believe it.
I
But
wanna
he
break my
had to
TV.
say something because, you know, police have this immunity going for them. So all we have to do is be present, and we're a threat. We're threatening them. We're almost killing them. They're in fear for their life because a black man is standing there. He must be up to something. He must be plotting to kill me. You know, and that's the stance all of them take. You know, once you're there, you're about to kill them. So you know, it's not gonna get any better. You're going to have more and more and more. And I really don't know what the fix for this is. You know, because you hear people talk about defund the police, have police reform. We've been having reform since civil rights movement.
We've been talking about things should happen.
Ain't nothing going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Because they still believe that black people need to be handled. And until we're handled and under control, they don't think that the cops should always be praised for what they did. Oh, they were wonderful people on both sides. Wasn't it?
Good point.
Wasn't it?
Queen, what you say?
Well, going back to what you said about most of us unfortunately becoming, I guess, immune or used to treatment like this or what have you. Funny enough, stuff like this takes me back to when Ricardo's Party Hall was on Beach Nut and I had gotten kidnapped and robbed and carjacked at gunpoint. And I was on Channel 13 News, and big up Jessica Wiley. She's a Caucasian lady. She was like legit concerned about me. She's the one that did my story. However, more Caucasian people made comments under that video about how I was possibly doing some type of insurance fraud, and they didn't believe what happened. Yes, and even Brian chimed in on it. And one or two times when I think back on that, I'm like, what if I was a white chick? What if I was Caucasian? Would I have been treated differently? Would more have been done? You know,
let me answer that for you.
Yeah, but you know, and it's like that's nothing compared to, you know, somebody being shot 7 times, but something as simple as that makes me think like, wow. And I
Go on.
Yeah, no.
I forgot all about that. Got that street cred.
But yeah,
in them streets. Yeah.
So, well, getting back to the original question, Chris, yeah, there is valid. It just pisses me off, but there's valid concern there. Here's what happens when people start not caring about something. You know, you've been in a relationship, you know, before, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And at the point you stop caring, guess what?
It's a wrap.
Anything goes.
Yes.
Anything, I don't care. Anything goes. And to just address Speshy's question about, you know, what we could do about it. Nothing is going to change until we actually see on video that a cop tried to kill a black man and a black man took the gun away and killed him. You understand what I'm saying? So nothing is going to change. As much as we say Black Lives Matter, they're not going to say it, but they're going to show us that they feel like it doesn't. And this is a prime example. It doesn't matter how many people, you know, supposedly stand with us. There's always going to be those out there that won't say anything but by not saying anything, that speaks louder than anything.
A lot, yep.
Yeah, y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I've always prided myself on, saying that America is a country in crisis. If we're in crisis, we stick together. Here's what affects me. Guess what? Now I'm going to be a lot more reserved about, joining with my fellow Americans or anything, knowing how they feel about me. Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because when situations happen, you see out in the streets, it's black and brown and white people together. Guess what happens? Guess what happens now during all this Trump presidency? What this shit is like? What you think people feel about you is not necessarily true. Because how I look at things at this point is half of America don't fuck with me at all.
Straight up.
What's the number? How much voted for him? Like almost 80 million, something like that.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Just don't, because you couldn't possibly. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm talking about us as black people, Caribbean people, people of color. They don't. As much as we want to, it's human nature to think, okay, everybody's good, and everybody's for you, and let's give people a chance. But now, it's like, I don't know, man. Y'all showed me in numbers,
Yeah, so I remember making this post. This was like in 2016 when Trump was running, saying basically, if you support Trump, either you are a racist or you're indifferent to racism. It's just not that big of a deal to you. So do I believe that all 74 million, however much voted for him, are out and out racist? No, I'm sure a lot of those people would be cool with you. They will go have drinks with you. They might come to your house. They may kick it with you. But when shit goes down and hits the fan, are they going to be there with you? No, they don't like you like that.
Right.
So if they see, like there's they're on my Facebook, so I'm going to talk about them. But there are some people that we've known for a long time. Where through this Trump presidency, we've gotten to learn a different side of them. Let me just say it that way. And it's again the nicest people to us, but we've realized that we were just the good ones. They thought we were the good ones. They were educated, and we were the good ones. They went to school, they were the good ones. But a lot of that has been revealed. And hey, but that's a bit off the subject of what I was going to say about this, just the danger of this being numb to this thing happening. Is that the next thing? It's like it's programmed what's going to happen, right? There's going to be a shooting, right? And then the next day we'll hear about it, and it's going to leave the news, and we're going to be outraged. There are going to be posts. We'll talk about unjust reasoning. There'll be hashtags. They'll call Al Sharpton. They'll call Ben Crump. Give it more attention. All that will happen. And then we'll get all up in arms. We'll march in the streets. There may even be some looting. There may be a couple fires. And the whole time, police are going to just sit back and do nothing. They're going to say nothing. And then it's going to go away. After about maybe 2 weeks, it will go out of the national consciousness. And you don't hear anything about it. Meanwhile, it's going to be, they're doing it, looking it up and find evidence or what have you. And about 4 months later from that, they're going to come out. The DA going to say there are no charges. We're going to get pissed off. Then we go back to normal. This is in a loop. This is what happens. And one thing that we've said here is what changes this is when police start paying with their freedom. Once they start getting. And the difficulty in that is that there are hundreds of police departments around the country, all managed differently. So there's no standard, rules about force. Now, that's one of the things that we're looking for from this Biden-Harris administration. There are some things, I don't remember the details of it, that the Obama Department of Justice had put into place for, made some recommendations around use of force, like required use of force for police departments. And, so getting those kind of things implemented, like this is the standard. And if you go beyond the standard, then these are the penalties. So that's difficult to implement. And there are a lot of technical details around that. But again, we have to start seeing people being held accountable. And there are actions that's going to have to happen on a city by city, police department by police department basis. And there are things that have to be done at the federal level. So that's, now that we have the Senate and the House, these are things that we need to push for. Police reform, and again, it's because of the way America is structured, the federal government can only do so much as it affects local, police departments, but there are things that they can do. So we're going to have to push them in that direction. I need to understand that better so I can present it better about exactly what can be done. But yeah, they need to start paying with their freedom. And long as they don't, what's going to stop the next police who pull over somebody, it's not even in their mind that I may even go to jail. So they don't think twice about it. You know what I mean? So, anyway, Special, any last comments on that before we go to our last? Go on.
Well, as I said, reform have to come down hard. It have to come down real effective when, as you said, police have to start go to jail, right? Me know yes about, basically them just need to start lose money, but them have to start go to jail.
No. I said lose freedom. They need to lose freedom.
Them have to start go to jail.
Start lock up a man.
And then have to start see them peers going to jail. For them start, think about things before them do it. Because now them can go off half-cocked and then have nothing to worry about. Because, they always have that to fall back on. Because they know the rest of the police department is going to have their backs. And they have to also, be able to speak up. Because there's a lot of good cops that want to say something. But they know how they're going to be treated if they do say something.
It's like three good cops. It's like Desiree and two other people.
I want to believe that there are more cops like that.
Man, I would like to believe that too, but I know all three of them.
The cops are the biggest gang in the world.
Okay? Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's not as well as Chris said. All of the local police departments are governed differently, but the one thing they have in common is each other, and they stick together. So it doesn't matter what happens, okay? They're going to stick together. And they know they have the support of the governor and local bodies as well. So nothing is going to stop them, okay?
Yeah, and I remember we talking to Officer Linus about that, and, just saying that, there is a lot of pressure within the department to kind of toe the line. Right. And if you speak out in a certain way, then you get to kind of ostracize, her. She was like, for one, I get it double. I'm a woman. I'm a Black woman also. So I get that double. You know what I mean? So that's, the fact that unit is so tight, no matter what kind of foolishness the police do, they're going to have his back. So that's why you just feel that they're all bad, because we don't hear from the good ones unless she come on just recently,
So one.
Just she and a frat brother, man. So I know two good police. That's it. Rest of them fire upon them. Anyway,